Alright, so here's what we came up with to hold these back bearings in place. So I got with my dad. They do pumps and stuff, and they work with brass and stuff, and they got a big lathe up there, and I was trying to see if they can cut down this bearing, but this bearing is so hard that it would have ended up messing up their cutter for their lathe. So I had two more options. So I asked them, I said, well, what about, can you do it in brass? Can you make me a piece out of a brass shaft that y'all use for bearings? And because all I needed to do is holding the bearing in there. So that's all we needed to do, is hold the bearing inside right here. So, I mean, with this crush plate, I crushed that bearing up in there, and I wouldn't be worried about that bearing spinning. So this was the last thing. They made this, and it's gonna work out. It's gonna work good, actually. The other thing, what I was gonna do is, was actually thinking about, these actually came out of the bearings. You see them two grooves? It holds the bearings in for the back bearings. So what I was thinking about doing is, I measured these and seeing how thick these was. So what I was going to do is I was going to heat these up and expand them so they would fit in there, because they're a little small. But if you heated them up and went around and you took both of these heated up to the same size, and you offset them where it didn't have the gap, it would actually hold that bearing in, because it was right at the right thickness. For my application, what I'm doing, it was right at the right thickness on the mic to actually put in there and just to hold that bearing in place, so I wouldn't be worried about that bearing spinning. So that's what I was thinking about doing if they couldn't cut that. And then we came up with a brass. So I'm going to use this brass because it's going to work out for me. It's a little smaller around on the edges, but it'll hit that bearing on the inside. It hits that bearing, so I'm not worried about it, actually. I mean, if you look, this inside's the same size, and it actually will line up with the outside. It's just a hair small, so I'm not worried about it. That's what we're going to use. It's going to work just to hold that bearing in, so, you know, it gives it a little more, so it don't start spinning. So it gives it a little more pressure on that bearing, holding it inwards. And once I tighten this up, we're going to make sure it still spins, which it shouldn't affect it because this bearing bottoms out in the case. So it shouldn't affect it at all anyway. So we're going to try these, see if this is going to work. The other option that I was going to do is that ring right there. I was actually going to use that ring. I was going to take a cutoff wheel and cut this bearing, because that would be the first place that it cut through, is because that ring is deep down inside there for the snap ring to go in. So I was going to take a cutoff wheel and just cut it. It wouldn't be perfect, and that's about the same size as what I need to as one of these brass pieces. So I'm just going to cut it, and that's the first place it's going to go through, and just take a grinder and smooth it out, and use that to press up in there, because it's the same size on the outside and would match that bearing perfect. I mean, so that was going to be the last resort if I had to do that. But this is what I'm doing. This is what I came up with. Figured I would show you guys and show y'all what I'm doing.